Okay, so question 5 from week 4 asks us to examine these two curves and then asking if they are inverses of each other. So because I know inverses reflect over the line y equals x, I'm going to sketch in that line y equals x. And this makes it clear to me that these graphs do not reflect over this line. They instead look like they're reflecting over the line of x equals 0 or the y-axis. Just because they reflect over something doesn't mean they're inverses. They have to reflect over this line y equals x in order to be considered inverses. So because they do not, I have to say no. Question number 13 gives us a slope or a gradient of 19 over 5, and it says it passes through the point negative 9, 5. So part A says substitute into this equation y equals mx plus b to find the value of b for this line. So that means I know a y value because of the point, so I know y value is 5. I know the gradient is 19 over 5, and the x value is negative 9. The only thing I don't know is b. To simplify this, I'm going to multiply that 19 over 5 times negative 9. And I'm going to stick with fraction form. I'm going to get negative 171 divided by 5. And if I add that to both sides, I get 196 divided by 5. Now, you could write that as a decimal. I knew that, or I assumed really, that they were going to then ask me for standard form. So to me, working from fractions going into standard form is easier than from decimals. So you could definitely write those in decimals, even the 19.5 you could have converted to a decimal. It's just easier when you're going from your y equals mx plus b into a standard form that you use fractions. So I'm going to start part B by typing out my gradient intercept form, but with my gradient of 19 over 5 and with my b, or my y-intercept, of the 196 divided by 5. From there, I can see that both of my denominators are 5. So remembering that standard form cannot have any decimals or fractions. I can only have integers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to multiply it by 5. Both sides have to get multiplied by 5. Remember, it's an equation, meaning it's equal on both sides. So I have to do that multiplying by 5 to both sides. Mathspace says no, because that's not an actual step. It's just showing the in-between step. But what I can then do is recognize that if I multiply this fraction by 5, it'll cancel out the 5 in the denominator. If I multiply this fraction or the whole term by 5, it'll cancel out the 5 in the denominator. On the left-hand side, when I multiply y by 5, I get 5y. Mathspace says almost, because with IB standard form, everything has to be on the same side. So what I could do is I could either subtract the 19x and the 196 to the left-hand side, or I can subtract 5y to the right-hand side. I'm going to do the latter just because it's less rewriting. Sticking that 5y in the middle just to keep it in standard form. Usually it's x, then y, then your constant. Mathspace still says no. And that could be because sometimes standard form has a 0 by itself. Sometimes standard form has the constant by itself. So I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna take my constant and move it onto this side by itself, meaning I would have subtracted it. So I have negative 196 equaling 19x minus 5, and that did it. So this is vague, and a Mathspace issue that it's vague. It just says standard form. It doesn't tell you. But remember, IB would say put it in the form, and they would type out what form they want you to have it in. They would have said for this problem, they wanted it as ax plus by equals d versus equaling 0.